सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यङ्करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Sanatana is the one what we were saying, that it is the most ancient time it is coming, but at the same time, it's not ancient, it is ever existing. So time-wise, it always belongs to. Second thing is that it also belongs to every human being, not just only for India, because it is our people who are belong to this culture, but it is for every culture, like the way that the fire burns, whether it is any place in India, or Africa, or America, everywhere it burns the same way. It is a dharma. What we call it as dharma, it should be universally applicable. This concept has always been there in the Sanathana Dharma, universally applicable to everybody, and also it's not only for the human being, but all the species it should be applicable. So that's why the Sanatana Dharma includes everything that is there in the nature. So whatever that is given in the form of Sanatana Dharma is also something which is natural for all of us. So we are not giving anything extraordinary, but it is the same thing in a proper order that we are trying to give. Sanatana, therefore it is Dharma also. Now, because of that reason only that we could say, Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha. We did not exclude anybody in saying Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha. Second thing is Sarve Santu Niramaya. That also we always very clear that to be healthy is our own nature. There are no sicknesses at all. We take care of it. And if you are able to see that in everywhere the goodness, that you can always develop it. Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu. So this is how essentially that is there a way that we can rise above the level of what are the differences that are there within us, and they may be local, so therefore we can transcend above that. So that itself, the moment we say Sanatana Dharma, it is indicating that the goal is something which is transcending this particular, whatever that is the differences that are there in the world outside, in the manifest world outside, and how we can transcend that to go to a higher level. So that must be the goal. And that is what last time also I was saying, that the Sanatana Dharma has a goal which is outside the material world. Material world comes and goes, keeps on changing, and it applies at one time, may not apply at another time. But this is something, the goal is something which is transcendental. Then naturally, this Dharma also survives forever, because the transcendental will not change. So that is the reason why Sanatana Dharma is something which is important. Now, another very important aspect is that anybody you talk to in this culture feels like they know Dharma. It's a very simple thing. Like you talk anybody saying that, yeah, a simple Dharma is, you see, like a stronger person is hurting a weaker person. You just stop your vehicle and say that, why are you hurting him? He is weak already. You should try to protect him. See, this is what is your Dharma. Simply say it. Similarly, a beggar who is sitting there and then you are just passing there, he says that give me some money. That's what is Dharma. That means helping the poor. So this, even the beggar himself says, do some Dharma. So that looks like that whether we are schooled or unfooled, you belong to this land, you know that there is something like Dharma in the day-to-day life. And then do something which is in the form of Dharma, he says that. Not only that, the people say, do some Dharma so that God will bless you. See, that also shows that you do some Dharma, something transcendental will descend on you or will help you, whatever it is. They may not know the meaning, what they are talking about, but then that is what is the simple thing. Similarly, if somebody is, like, for example, doing rituals very sincerely, early morning goes around the temple 10 times and all that, people do that kind of thing. Immediately say, must be, he's a very Dharmatma. See, that means dharma is something which is, people feel it. Not only in this culture, in the other cultures also, they feel that you are dharmic if there is something like a something extraordinary that you do it, what others cannot do it. It so happened once that my friend and myself in Europe, we were traveling around various places. My whole uh, those days interest was to explore into all these areas. I went to some pre-monastery, some nuns were there, and that kind of a pre-Christian monastery. Very remote place, somewhere in remote Europe, Eastern Europe country. And then we drove there, and we went there, and then to, mm, and we were staying that night there. The food was, we requested for food. So then there were two sisters or mothers. They were serving us. Actually, one elderly lady, his mother, was a young lady, she was there. So they were serving us. So then my friend said that mm, he will not eat meat, he will eat only vegetarian. Then immediately they said that, no, just we finished Easter, so now you can eat meat. Because then I came to know that in Easter they don't eat meat. So now you can eat meat. Then my friend said, no, he doesn't eat meat at all. He said he never ate meat in the lifetime. And my friend said, yes, he never ate. Then immediately that younger sister, she said, wow, he must be spiritual. See, that means there is a discipline associated with the spirituality. Immediately this elderly lady, that means motherly, she got a little offended, maybe jealousy. No, there is nothing spiritual about it. It is their culture, they don't eat it. I want to give an explanation. My friend shared with me and laughing at that. But the behind that is something that just because that you simply introduce a discipline, people feel that's a part of Dharma. So this is spiritual means actually dharmic, the idea. So that means it, somewhere or the other that we have the concept that there is something what is Dharma. But it may be bits and pieces. Therefore, we need to understand what is the central core of Dharma. That is the reason why we need to have this series of talks. Otherwise, what happens is that here and there, this one practice, that one practice, this one area, that one area seem to be dharmic, but what is the essential idea of it? So therefore, we need to really look into what is called as Sanatana Dharma. Then second thing which I stopped last time was saying that Dharma is that which holds it. And water's property of wetting is holding the water to be water. And this story comes very beautifully in Kenopanishad. He says that the fire comes and Yaksha was there and Yaksha asked, who are you? He said, I'm the fire. Tell me what you can do it. And he says that I can burn anything. Oh, you can burn anything? And he was proud that I can burn anything. Then okay, he just put a dry leaf and burned this leaf. And then he pushed all his energy, blah, 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 all that. It never burnt. And then fire felt ashamed actually. He ran away from there. Similarly, wind comes, I can dry up anything. All right, then you dry up this particular leaf. The leaf remains as fresh as the just tender leaf as it is, never dried up. See, that means the property is what it is. Property is not there, it's identity. And that's what Upanishad says. The real fear is that identity was Atmana Sarupam Dhayam Manyamana. So we are identified with that quality. That means that quality sustains us what we are. Burning quality sustains what fire is. Wetting quality sustains what the water is. So like that, at a simple level that we can see that their quality is dharma, we can easily think of it. But then it's much a little more than when you go to the evolution ladder. Then you see the plants. The plants have dharma, which they sustain, like the way mango seed that you put, it gives mango fruit. It is a dharma. It doesn't give anything else. So its identification is with that giving mango, therefore we say it is mango tree. And then moment you see a mango tree, immediately you ask what variety of mango it is. That means even there also the variety is its dharma. It cannot give anything else other than that variety fixed. But then there is, though it is fixed, but there is flexibility in the sense that this mango tree can go big, can go small, or can give fruits early, may give later. So there are different variations that is there in the mango. It happens. You can't control it. We might say simply, yes, this time I don't know, crop did not come up well. So that means it's not in your hand. That means there is something else that's happening. You can't control it. There is a degree of freedom in the mango tree itself. The moment you come to the next species, that's what is animal. Animal has locomotion, movement. So therefore, higher degree of freedom, higher degree of consciousness. So therefore, essentially that its dharma can be much more variety. In the sense that it can bark, some of the dogs bark, some don't bark. So it's their freedom. So that means to say there is little more freedom that's involved in that. The dharma can be complex at that level. But the moment it comes to the human being level, at human being level, you have such a complexity because our personality is complex. Right from the physical level, all the way up to the consciousness level, you have such variety. That's why dharma in the case of human being is something which is complex. So what is the dharma of a mango tree? I can say it. What is dharma of a bird? I can say it can fly. But what is the dharma of human being? It can be such a complex subject. That is what we need to understand about the human being. Sanatana Dharma connected with the human being. So this is something which is very important in the case of human being to understand about Dharma. When you come to human being level, the first thing what is that it sustains human being. That's what is said. Dharma is that it sustains. What is that which sustains human being? Which is necessary in the case of human being, which you don't have it in the other, you don't need it in the other case of species, is that the other species, they are programmed to manage certain things which human being is not programmed. Like the simple thing is, I can exploit, I'm strong, I can exploit the weak person. Only human being will do it. Often people say that animals do like that. Animals do not do it. Though he is a strong animal and the other is a weak animal, it doesn't take advantage of it. That's why in the forest, you see the strong animals are also there, weak animals. Big trees are also there, small fishes are also there. They don't have idea of, okay, you are small, so you don't have to exist. That's not the way it is. In fact, on the other hand, they also allow them to live. That is their extraordinary. Like, for example, I often give that example of YouTube information where a tiger having meal, full meal, stomach full, is sleeping in the grass, and then inches in front of it, the deer is grazing. So therefore, because it came so close, the tiger got disturbed. So the tiger raised its head. But the tiger raises head, the deer sees that. Now deer knows that he is a ready meal in front of tiger. She started shivering. But then the tiger, because stomach was full, yawned and slept back. And the deer also knows now the tiger is not dead. It is grazing their own. The commentator said something very beautiful. He said, tigers eat when they are hungry. Otherwise, they don't eat. That's why they are non-violent. You see, when you are not hungry and you eat food, you are violent. So this is what is basically a nature has its control in the case of animal. Hunger is there, food is there. Beyond the hunger, limit of hunger, they don't go for food, even though food is there. That's why in the forest you see that so much freedom is there about the food and all those things. But the animals are never abused. You don't find any obese animal in the forest. Whereas obese animals you find in our vicinity. My own dog can be obese dog, or my own cat can be obese cat, because we have not only given our uh, sickness to them. This is how it happens like that. So essentially, animal level that they have inbuilt control not to exploit. Not only that, there is one more aspect that is there in the case of animals, which we need to elaborate later on. But the simple story I tell you, how the animals, uh, though it is supposed to be his food, it does not take that food because there is something extra that has happened. And that is, I gave you the one time that story that in East European country, somebody had kept uh, this thing, a wolf in his captivation. And then he used to feed the wolf that used to be there. And one time he was supposed to go for 1 week outside. So he had a concern how to keep this wolf alive because he has to give the food. So one simple thought that came up is that let me leave a donkey there because that he will eat on the donkey, so then he will survive. So therefore he left the donkey in the cage. And then because anyway he will eat donkey, therefore he did not keep any fodder for the donkey. And then wolf will eat this donkey and survive. He went for 1 week and then came back. People were angry with him because that they saw that both the animals were there in the cage alive. The donkey did not, the wolf did not eat donkey. And there's no food. Donkey, you didn't put food, therefore donkey wasn't made. So people are saying that you kept all these, both the animals, and you did not feed them. They were they were dying because of hunger. Why do you keep it inside and leave that wood? So immediately people made him to leave the wood. The wolf ran away into the forest. That's over. And then donkey, as usual, stayed in there. But then the most interesting is between that forest and his farmhouse, there is a field. In the field, he would take the goats to a sheep to graze. So one day he noticed that when he, in the evening he finished the sheep and then bringing back home, at that time he saw two shining eyes in the forest. Then he recognized that is wolf waiting for them. And the wolf was waiting till the uh, sheep go away. Sheep is the food of the wolf, but then wolf did not eat that sheep. You see, look at the change in the wolf. After the sheep go away, then this wolf came running to this place where the cage was there. And by the time donkey also came running there, they both were happily standing there together. Spent about some half an hour time and all that. And then wolf went back to the forest. And the donkey also went back on its way. See, that means to say that even though the donkey was its food, even though the the sheep were his food, but he did not eat that because that there was a kind of fraternity that is developed and care each other. This caring each other comes much more higher than that. In fact, that quality of caring is something which is higher. A mother's quality of caring the child is higher. A bird cares for that. A worm cares for that. Everything in a species that it cares for. This is a higher degree of principle of food. So that means ordinary level of food and hunger and all those things, there is a higher level that is there. I also give another recently in one YouTube that was there. A little puppy was shivering because of the cold and he could not survive the cold. A duck was there, just went near this puppy and then spread her wings, and to take care of this, uh, give warmth to that particular a little puppy. And puppy was healthy and all that. Because now that gave protection to that, the, the now that puppy was following this duck wherever he goes, they were together. Now, over a period of time, the puppy has grown to big dog. Little bit size, big in mature. By that time, actually, this duck also died. And duck has five ducklings. Now, this little puppy was taking care of all the ducklings. See, they were supposed to be inimical, one against the other, but then they were together. That means to say, they are also that they have something which is beyond the level of simple law, nyaya. So if animals have that position where that they can grow beyond the level of their own hunger and food, human being definitely must go that. So we also instinctively that there is deep inside an idea of rising above the level of this simple question of law. Law is that I'm hungry and the food is there and the duck is my food, so I eat the food. It is the simple law. So therefore, when you come to the human level also, what simply should sustain the human being at the first place is the law. Law makes to sustain in a society. A society makes a law. Jungle doesn't have any law. So you are in the jungle, there is no law. But the moment you are in the society, you see that mutually that we survive. Therefore, that we have this law. And the law also is a barter system. Like, for example, it gives us convenience. I produce something and you need something which I produce, but I need something which you produce. So you give, I take it, and then I give, you take it. We both sustain. So this is what is law. Law is the one which sustains us. Therefore, we make laws. The same road is there, we make a law. Everybody goes on their right side. So that person going upwards also goes on the right side. Downwards also goes on the right side. So that both of us very happily use that road. So every law is like that, that mutually we live together. So therefore, law is very important for us. And in fact, I don't know when this idea of law came in the other parts of the world, but in India, the law is there even in the case of Vedas. That means ever since the creation is there, we have the law. That's why Nyaya Shastra is as old as the text might have come later, but the Nyaya concept is there as old as the creation started. So that has always been there. So, and then there are references what are the basic principles of Nyaya? We had discussed about it. One very important principle of Nyaya is it logical. Logic is the essential component of this Nyaya. And second thing is it evidence-based? And third important thing is it available for, logical means tarka. So tarka baddha. That means I should be logical to say something, convince about it. Second thing is evidence-based. This also that our people said that. We have that. And third important thing that they said is that, is it epistemological? That means to say basically that is this in concurrence with the matter that you see outside? So it's based on experience. So all these three things are satisfied, then only it is supposed to be law. And this is Nyaya Shastra. And who has written the Nyaya Shastra? Kapila Maharshi has written the Nyaya Shastra. So, like the way that I always say, yoga is always there in the culture. Patanjali has codified these principles of yoga in the form of Yoga Sutras. The same way, Nyaya is there all the time in the nature. And the only thing is that Kapila Maharshi has codified that Nyaya Sutras that are there. Kapila Maharshi did not give us Nyaya. That means logic has been there. If we have this logic, and if we have this evidence based on all those things, it should be, and at that point of time when the creation started, that means why are we today not using that? In the sense that make believe. You believe it. I say something. No, we are not a culture where just blindly we believe. We accept it. We don't accept it. We can put this. At the same time that when I question, it does not mean that I'm arrogant. Unfortunately, today what happened is that the moment you try to question, immediately the teacher feels that you are arrogant. You are questioning me. How can you question me? Even the pundits, they say that you cannot question. You have to take it by value. See, the problem with that is, yeah, if you take it by value, then every other Shastra will say take it by value, whatever I say that you have read. In what way then we are different? So, therefore, we have to clearly understand that what is this Sanatana Dharma? Nyaya says that you give and you take it. And this sustains. And this way the whole sustenance is based on. And I do something, I work, and then I get paid. It's a very simple thing. And then another thing is that do I get paid or not, enough paid or not, or somebody is taking advantage of me? You see, that's what is there. Nobody can take advantage of situation just because that the situation has gone like for example, there is a scarcity. Immediately prices will go up. No, you cannot raise the prices just because that there is a need and there is a scarcity effect. You cannot raise it. Look at what happens to tomatoes. You will get today 40 rupees, 10 rupees a kilo, and suddenly that tomorrow, because there is scarcity, 100 rupees a kilo. You cannot do that. You cannot take advantage. This is what is Nyaya. Nyaya comes in the way, law comes in the way to see that people should not be exploited. That means the strong cannot exploit the weak. See, this is the very important aspect of this law. Otherwise, what happens is that the strong will, might is right. Might is not right. Might actually, on the other hand, should be able to help the people who are not fighting, the poorer section, so that they get it. So this is how essentially that law enforcement is necessary to see that people are not exploited. Now, not only law enforcement, added to that, now another thing that has to come is people who exploited the law should be punished. So therefore, a judiciary system has to come, and the police system has to come to enforce that. See, that means the moment that you think of law should be supported by, one thing is that people who have intellectuals who give the law. Second thing is the people who enforce that law, police. And third is the people who judge whatever that you have judgment. So that means to say it increases all that overburden on the human being. The simple way that they said is that if the law comes from, if you own the law is given to see that we all survive. So therefore it belongs to me. If I own the law, then I don't need anybody to judge me. There is nobody to actually punish me at all. Police becomes unnecessary for me if I'm abiding the law. If you are following the traffic rules, why the traffic police is necessary? You can do away with traffic police. So this is what the most important aspect of the law system is, that let the law belong to you. Let the law come from within you. Are you proud of the laws? If you are proud of the laws, and yes, we have nice, wonderful laws to see that this country or this state is disciplined. I don't need anything extra. This was the culture of this land. From within me. That means somebody says that this is the law. Now onwards, I follow that law. If a government authority says that this is the law, today onwards, I start following the law. I don't want anybody to tell me what is law. Because I know what is law. I follow that. Nobody can say, are you following the law? You don't have to question me. Because I'm a citizen, I follow the law. What we say, unfortunately, is that because I'm a citizen, I have a right. Is there anybody who says that because I'm a citizen, the law belongs to me? I follow the law. I don't need any police to implement it. A society where the law comes from within, a society is harmonious society. You don't need anything else. I'll give you the example of that harmonious society where the law comes from within. That means people instantaneously they follow the law. Because I went to Japan when my son was there at that time. We went to one of those small little outlets, vegetable outlet in the farm. So we went there in the vegetable outlet. There were vegetables packed in plastic bags, and then on that the price is given 150 yen, 200 yen, like that, various prices. He went there, he picked up whatever that is necessary, put it in the bag, counted all that. Totally, it came to about 1,200 yen or something. There is a box. He just put 1,200 yen and then came out. Nobody was there to say. Nobody was there to see that how much he has put, how many he picked up. I was shocked. I said, nobody is here. Yeah, farmers, they bring all those things, whatever produced, they put it here, they put the tag. Now, people take it. I said, but if I didn't put the money or put less money, he said, they'll see how much is spent and how much is money there. But equal, then they don't worry about it, which normally becomes like that. Sometimes it becomes missing because somebody has not paid. Then there is a note that will come on top saying that somebody forgot to put some 500 yen. They don't blame you. And the next time the person who missed it, he will put that 500. Just stick it on the counter that is there. Then itself, please somebody Forgot to put 500 liter. Put the 500 liter. This is where the law comes from within. And the law comes from within. You don't need police. You don't need law enforcement authority. You don't need the locking system and all that. This culture was that culture where there was no locking system. If it does not belong to you, don't take it. We have stories like that. Macaulay said that in a statement when he gave to America in Britain. They said this culture we cannot survive, we cannot do anything because the culture is so deeply rooted that the law comes from it. So people follow the law without any authority. So without any authority means the British said that whether we are there or not, we don't mean anything. People just follow the law. You see, you become redundant. That's what in India, basically the attitude is created because the scarcity. When they create the scarcity, then the hoarding comes to the picture. When the hoarding comes into the picture, then you need somebody who should not unnecessarily take it. See how one thing, that's why you create have not, so that you need to have your power on that, authority on that. We didn't have jails, we didn't have prisons, because people would follow that. In fact, you know what? This system of panchayat was there right up the villages level, so that the village head will sit down and say that, come on, two people, you say dispute. Come on, come and tell me what is your dispute. So would you accept my authority? Yes, you accept your authority. So yes, you give it to him so much. You don't need to give this. And all this. You take it, finish. Where is the question of jail? Where is the question of any judiciary or anything like that? This is a simple thing. That's how basically we divided this whole country into small little units, panchayat system. And disputes are resolved there itself. Unfortunately, today we have created the whole big unnecessary thing. That's why cases are pending. So, law should come from within. Law belongs to us. I should be proud of the law. And if I'm proud of my country means what? I'm proud of my own laws of my country. That's a simple thing. I give you another example of Japan. Japan is a beautiful country for that, this thing. So I went to a Shinto, there's a seminar that was supposed to go on, and then I went to the Shinto temple seminar. I was a little early, so therefore, there's somebody who was washing the avenue trees. The cleanliness there is so particular that the avenue trees, they with the water, pressure water hose, they clean it. I said, what is that you are doing? He looked at me and said that I'm cleaning the trees. Oh, okay. So this is your job? Yes. I get paid. Whenever I do it, I go so much. So who is your boss? Who is your senior, superior? He looked at me strangely. For this work, I need a boss. Work is given to me, I do it. Can you do that way? Without any boss, you just do the work. So therefore, if we can bring in the law into the nature, the society, and then we own the law, that's you are the citizen. And if you do that, the society itself is one. I protect it. And not only that, I see that I protect the others, neighbors also. It's yours, I think you take care. This was their conscious, the subconscious level within us. Like, for example, if my home child goes somewhere else and he's doing something wrong, somebody else immediately can go and say that, hey, you are a youngster. This is something wrong that you are not doing like supposed to do. Like, go home, go for studies. He doesn't even tell me. And he will say that, I'll tell your father if you don't do that. See, that means the responsibility is taken by neighbor, my son. Because basically, everybody's child. It's for the future generation that we are doing. So this is what is the power of law. We have whole constitution, lot of laws, but nobody owns the laws because nobody knows what the laws are. They made it so complicated. Make it simple, make it applicable, bring it to the common man's doorstep to see that they understand it. The law is something which is so complicated, common man doesn't understand. And the language also they use is something which they don't understand. Unfortunately, that's what happened. Like, for example, mullahs, they didn't store somebody's jewelry, and then immediately they went to the court, police caught it, court case. And then liar. You see, even everybody should have a liar, so therefore they give some liar for this one. So liars argued and all that, and this liar. So therefore the judge said, so this case, the the accused is supposed to be acquitted because he is not found to be guilty. Mullah doesn't understand all this language. Accused, acquitted, and guilty. So he's a very simple person. So he asked the judge, "Sir, so that means to say that, in plain simple terms, so I don't have to give back that jewelry, right? I don't have to give back. The judgment, he did not steal the jewelry, but it says that I did not have to give back that jewelry. How complicated this law has become. Make it simple. Make it everybody understand. Few laws. Let them understand. Let people know about it. Make it clear, transparent. This is the important thing that the leaders have to do that. The society has to do that. And that sustains. That's a very important thing in this society is that law sustains. Law is necessary. We require law. But I have not yet said anything about our Sanatana Dharma. There are so many things that are there, I have not even touched it. See, even you don't even have to go to Dharma. But this itself is something which is so beautiful in a society to sustain. A nature which follows the laws, a society, a community which follows the law, where the law comes from within, it itself is a very healthy society. But in that society, we find some people who not only take care of law, but they rise above the law. That means I take service from somebody, and if I take service from somebody and then I give equal amount of money, what is it deserves, then I'm just absolutely following the law. I'm not violating any law. I'm not punishable. I don't do any mistake. My conscience also does not say that you have done something wrong. So therefore, that's fine. But I see somebody, he takes a service worth about 500 rupees and gives back 1,000 in turn. And that man says, no, I take only 500 rupees. Says, no, it's all right. You have children. No. Why don't you take some presentation for the children today? Anyway, if you know tomorrow is the festival that's coming up, take some place where your child. So you give 1,000 rupees more. That means you are taking care of law comes from within, law sustains, but you are doing much more than that. Much more. So this is where to the level of Dharma. Dharma says something that is, you take care of law, but you rise above the level of law. Far above the level of law, so that fellow feels gratitude. You feel satisfied. You have not only given back the work that work is worth it, but much more than that you have given. And this is in the nature. And that's what I gave that examples of a duck protected the dog. Duck need not protect the dog. Because you know that the dog clan is our enemies. They chase us. But then the dog is suffering. The duck gave shelter to that dog. And dog in turn gave support to this duck. Though his natural food. Would eat that duck, nobody would have found fault with that. But then the duck said, I'll take care of all the ducklings because the mother has taken care of me. Now let me take care of it. So that means it's raising above the level of, and this there in the animals. And not only that's there in the animals, even in the plant and everywhere it is there. Look at the way, what you give to the plant, simple glass of water, it gives a nice, wonderful flowers. Much more than that, the flowers give nice, wonderful fragrance. So what you give is so little, and what you get in return is so extraordinary. This is what is nature. The most important feature of the nature is that nature gives much more than what you take. Similarly, a mango tree. What do you give? Mango tree is there. But then mango season after season after season, without fail gives you hundreds of microbes, thousands of microbes. Nature gives that. Why all these things? Earthworm, which is insignificant, but even though insignificant, nobody looks at it, but it makes the earth fertile for being there. Nobody, not even looks for the praise. A human being looks for the praise. I've done so much. To do some small little thing, you want recognition. I did this, I did that, and all that. And not only that, we try to give whatever that we try to bada chada ke that we enhance it and show it. That fellow saying that he is a very great philanthropist, blah blah blah. He has given 1 lakh donation to the organization, and that fellow is pulling his dress. I said, what is that? You also tell him that 1 lakh I paid it in 5 years ago, and today it's worth is 10 lakhs. But you give it, you see. So what is this human thing? Why can't we give more than, and not for recognition, just give it, enjoy giving it. Then you become natural. So that's what the Upanishad says, that give much more than what you take. Jivane yavadadanam shat pradhanam tatodikam ityesha pradhana smakam bhagavan paripuryatam. God, give me that ability just to give more than what I take. This is what we don't ask the God, give me this, give me that, give me more money, and give me lottery, and give me this position. And you have enough. You give much more than what you take. This is what is simple. What happens? Because that you are here for 50, 100 years, the world has become a better place. Because you add more to the world than take less. So you make this world a better place. Every other species on this earth make the earth better. In fact, there is no life at all in the soap bubble. It lives for such a short period of time, few seconds or a minute or so. In that 1 minute, it makes a nice, wonderful shape, and it flies in the air and reflects and reflects on the inside and outside, nothing. Separated by thin film. But then, if that can do so much, gives such a joy. Look at the children. The moment that they blow the soap bubbles, and they get the joy out of it. That soap bubble can give joy to you. Why can't you do something more than that? So therefore, the simple law says that law is something which is necessary, which has to come from within. Nyaya is something which has to be added. But there is something much more than that. Nature does it. At least you be part of the nature. You also do much more than that. This is what is Dharma. And love is the law. Love? Is the law. Now, that's what is the thing. If there are two things that are there, that is, I gave that example of, you give out of, but you give for the sake of recognition. You give for the sake of that you should be recognized. People should recognize. That's why 10 years, 5 years ago, I gave this. Today it is worth about 10 lakhs of rupees. That means you are recognized, you are looking for the price. You are not doing out of love. You are not doing out of nature. Love is nature. Doing out of love is that. That's what you can see in the ducks, in the ducklings. That's what you can see in the tiger. You can see in the nature. Always it is like in a plant that you see that the plant gives you without any reservation, without any praising. Look at the forest. Who praises that? But look at the way that he just spreads nice, wonderful flowers and all those things. It doesn't look for anybody to praise. But why human beings become like that? So can we give much more than what we do? This is what is rising above the level of Nyaya to Dharma. And they, first of all, they were threatened. You cannot survive without doing that. Your survival is threatened. Look at the way that how the rulers make this life survival become, rather than giving them incentive, giving them growth, but then they make them feel that they're insecure. It is a basic question of insecurity brings about the scarce community. And the scarce psychology enters into the self. That's what I gave the example. I give the example. How much the scarce as psychology enters into the human being. You see in African countries like Ethiopia, once a week that the uh, aeroplane comes and drops the food, and then the might mighty people, they grab them, and you see that other small people, they're crying, they're looking for this. This is happening even in Pakistan these days. So that means they don't get it. Might would like to keep it. They would not give it. See, because that they are afraid that tomorrow whether the flight will come or not, whether the drop food will be dropped or not. I don't know how long it will take. So this is how that they would like to hoard it. The scarce psychology, hoard psychology, is happening in every human mind because of the rulers. And the scarce psychology is so deep in goes into deep inside. That's what vasana samskara becomes so much that they said that it enters into the cell level. This idea of hoarding in such a way that in African countries, you see the children with a big pot belly, then lanky hands and legs. That means to say, even the stomach will not share it with the hands and legs. Stomach would like to keep it hoarding. This is hoarding psychology. It happened because of the scarcity. Think of it, Africa is a country which is a tropical country. You can grow all the fruits, you can grow vegetables, you can grow everything. The food, the water resources are there. But the colonization has really depleted all that, made them scarce. And today they are fighting, whether it is Rwanda, whether it is something. So this is what is something we need to bring out. You see that in one generation, you can bring in the scarce psychology into the cell level. It takes 3, 4 generations to bring them out. In fact, I see that even in India, we had for such a long time scarcity. British also depleted us. Afterwards, also the next boom that has come also made us like this. Imagine that how much of scarce that we were living in. That sugar was on ration, rice was on ration. We could not get freely to the market and go buy rice. And forget about all those things. Cloth was in ration. You could not buy the cloth at one point of. Or you could get anything in the world outside. You could have produced, but then they kept it low. And they would, why the rulers were keeping its cases before the elections, 6 months, they would release everything. So that we are giving this. So that people, short memory, immediately vote them. For their vote case that they made, they kept the people in this case. This is what is in the communist country also. They keep this scarcity. As a result of it, we imagine when the television first came into the world country, we were getting television on allotment. Scarcity about it. Give some 100 companies the license to manufacture. We were producing so many software engineers, even at that time. Should we not produce television? But there were a couple of television companies, Dayanara, this, that, and then we would get only on allotment, we get it, and we will get the television. Otherwise, we don't have television. Everything was on scale so that people would pay extra and corruption is encouraged. All these things have chain reaction one to the other. So we were running with the scarce psychology. That's why my generation people, you see that today we have no scarcity at all. We have plenty in India. Not only that, even the vaccine we gave to the other countries. So much we have. But psychology is still scarce. That's the reason why you see that you go to the buffets, elderly people, they heave their plate. They think that as if tomorrow there is no food at all. Yeah. Yeah. Right. You see, it's a part. I keep watching that. You see this case psychology, how much it is. And in the process, they'll be spilling on their clothes and all that. Just take it what you require and then eat it, finish. Somebody doesn't work, they get scared. Yeah, right. In fact, I was doing the same thing, believe it or not, because I passed through that scarce psychology. One day I realized, it's about 20 years ago, that when I started looking at all these Vedanta principles, I realized, hey, I'm also doing the same thing. I'm trying to hold the food, keep the food together. They say you can save money for rainy days. Yes, for rainy day. See, all these things. That shows that how much that we were caught up in. In the rainy day, it will be much better. But we were having this kind of fear. So we would possess, hoard it. All these things are the evil developed in our psychology. Whereas we were the people in the world who said that give more than what you take. Jivane yavada. You will not see that kind of a thing anywhere in the world literature. If you look at Mahabharata, this Yaksha Prashna is very strong, beautiful. You have to give an answer immediately. That's what his Yaksha says to Yudhishthira. And says, who is rich? And you don't have time to think about it. He says, one who can give is rich. I give, so that I'll be rich. What a simple answer, what a simple idea. We have to follow that. This is what is rising above the levels of Nyaya to Dharma. Now, what is very important thing about this is why we think of Dharma is that, you see, like for example, primary school level teacher requires a degree of master's or degree of bachelor's and with education. That means to say, so much of knowledge he has there, he can handle the primary school children. In a small little simple way, in ordinary education, you think that somebody's knowledge should be so much more to handle this. Don't we think that some people in the society raised to that level of Dharma so that they can establish the Nyaya being there in the society? So therefore, we should always think at not just Nyaya level, we should see that what can be more added to the Nyaya level. And therefore, our design in the society should be in such a way how we can provide that schemes for that. And I'll talk about that as the times come. Thank you. Yeah, anybody has any questions, you can unmute and ask me. I'll repeat the question for everybody. There's some couple of chats are there. Sorry?
Why audio disturbing? Is there anything you want to ask anything?
Oh, I don't hear any sound coming.
I am okay, sir.
Oh, okay. Oh, Shastriji is here.
No, actually, a lot of people, there are about 10 people are there. I think everybody has switch off the cameras.
Oh,
Yeah, I can see them here.
okay.
Yeah,
So audio is clear to you, Shastriji?
absolutely.
Yeah. 10 people are there who switched off their cameras. But he is hearing. Shastriji is hearing clearly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Loud and clear.
Yeah, thank you. Loud and clear.
Yeah, audio is fine.
Who is that?
This is Mukund here. Audio is fine.
Oh, wonderful. Who's that? Who said?
I think Mukund, I think.
Oh, okay.
Mukund, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
right, Mukund, thank you.
Yeah.
So somebody